Hello, my name is James and welcome to Mirror Domain's Movie News for April 28th, 2021. Come on, movie fans, let's talk about some of the headlines today. Chris Pratt has a new trailer out for the Tomorrow War coming out on Amazon Prime. Joe Rogan puts his foot in his mouth. Or does he? And we'll go across some quick little assorted headlines, and then I want to end off the show by talking about how I find new YouTube channels that are movie related. Well, I think you'll find that a bit interesting. If you haven't watched anything from me before, you know that there are time codes that you can find in the description and along that bar there on YouTube. But we begin today with the Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt, coming out on Amazon Prime Video. The release date for the Tomorrow War's release date, July 2nd, 2021. It's a quick teaser. Let's check it out.
We are fighting a war 30 years in the future.
Yes. Okay. It has to do with aliens, right?
Our enemy is not human.
Ooh. Yeah. We saw these screenshots yesterday. The Tomorrow War, July 2nd. Okay, so if you were paying attention yesterday, we went over some of the screenshots from that. They released some screenshots, and the synopsis is basically people from the future come back to the past to recruit people to go ahead and fight in this war against the aliens. And obviously, Chris Pratt is the main character. It's unknown yet if he's somebody who gets recruited or if he comes back and does the recruiting. It didn't really tell you that in that little teaser, but it's coming out on Amazon Prime. I like the sci-fi thing. It's my bag. I like that a lot. It looks interesting though. What do you think? I got Shades of Skyline or whatever that movie was called. All right, let's continue on with some movie news headlines. Just some quick ones. Monsterverse births Godzilla vs. Kong sequel, Son of Kong. Really, Son of Kong, can that work? Well, we've already established that in Skull Island that there were other, obviously, big beings. This is a spoiler if you haven't seen Godzilla vs. Kong, but he goes to the Middle Earth, Hollow Earth, and there are no other versions of him. So maybe he does come across one down there. We didn't see all of it, and they procreate and have a son. That would be interesting. And I think that's the only way they can do it, with keeping Kong in it, right? And then they would have to fight some external fight again. Kong and Godzilla would have to come together again. Or they just continue with Kong and Son of Kong, and that's it. We don't have Godzilla in there anymore. Which I don't think a lot of people would like. That's not the formula that people responded to, because people liked Godzilla vs. Kong, including me. Yeah, that's what this came out in an interview with the director, Wingard, Adam Wingard, right? And he says, that they were creating this. There's no timeline for this yet, guys. This is all sort of speculation just right now. But I wanted to bring it to your attention. I thought it was interesting. Yesterday, it was reported that there's a Flintstones project, Bedrock, it's going to be called. And it's going to be brought to you by Elizabeth Banks. And basically, I thought maybe it would be just a reboot of the Flintstones. Yeah, that can work. It's going to be animated, and it's not going to be live action, and it's all going to be about Pebbles, the little baby. And apparently, it's going to be her grown up and trying to deal with them coming out of the prehistoric age into the Bronze Age. That's a very interesting idea. I like that. As you know, I do really admire Elizabeth Banks. I think she's a fantastic actress, artist all around. And then it's going to deal with Fred, obviously, going into retirement. And because it's animated, you're going to be able to use all of those characters. You're not going to have to try to find people that sort of look like them, like the Goodman film was. But yeah. All right, let's get on to this juicy headline. This was reported on a lot of big major news sites. It's about Joe Rogan. And this is from the Hollywood Reporter. And I read the headline, and I want to share this with you guys because I want to tell you how I digest this information, because it's very tricky to negotiate these things, because some people will just make snap decisions, and I want to share with you that I'm not doing that. I'm a fan of Joe Rogan. I do like to listen to his podcasts, not on Spotify though, because when I put it on Spotify, I want to listen to it. They still play the video in the background, and if I'm doing something else on the computer, it just uses up my resources. If I could just set it so that I can listen to the podcast, that would be better. But anyway, enough of that. Let's just get to the quote that everybody's talking about. Joe Rogan's recommendation: young, healthy people to skip. He says that young people should skip the vaccine. And then Fauci responded, and I'm not going to get into the politics about all of this, because, if you ever watch Joe Rogan, it's usually said with some context. I give him that benefit of the doubt. And I think that's where a lot of people they don't do that when they report this stuff. But I had to look into it. I wanted to know this for sure. And from this article on Hollywood Reporter, it starts off with Rogan informing his listeners that his children got the virus and were both fine. Then he concluded, well, then maybe all young people should skip it. He says here, and this is the quote they decide to use, "Are you a healthy person? Like, look, don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. You should, if you're a healthy person, you're exercising all the time, and you're young, and you're eating well, like, I don't think you need to worry about this." And they didn't include the part before it or after it, but the part before is where he basically says you don't need to worry about it. I would say no, don't get it. And they didn't put that in this article. You got to be very mindful of that. And of course, then they look at all the medical people responding to it, and that's why I was like, no, Joe, you didn't say that, did you? Joe Rogan anti-vax comments about young people create new headache for Spotify. I don't really care about his platform. He's not going to get deplatformed. People will listen to him. People follow him because he's good at conveying his thoughts on camera and on the microphone. So here he says, here they show the first part. If you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I'll say no, he said in conversation, because he has that perspective that his kids got it and they were fine. Here's where I would say, I would go listen to the segments, make your own conclusions. This is what you have to do with everything. Don't just blindly listen to what one site tells you or one perspective. Even if it's like your parents, you got to at least take that information, go online like I just did here, learn about it. If you know a little bit of background of Rogan, he likes to pull ideas out and then he'll smooth it out later on. Like, that's part of his bag, is that these are long conversations, dialogues, where they will start with a premise and then work towards a conclusion. But with this, it's hard not to pull out a big highlight like that and then go, ooh, no, this is wrong, you shouldn't do that. But here's the thing that I would say with Rogan. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have said exactly that. That's not the good thing to do. For me, I got my first part of the vaccine as of now, but I would say this. It's just not about you. It's about protecting the other people around you, your family. And just because you got it once, it hasn't been proven that you can't get it again, which people have. So I would say if you can boost up your immunity to it, and it's not going to cause you harm, that's what I would say. I would say, well, the chances are in your favor to probably take it. But enough of that stuff, guys. Let's continue on with back to the movie news stuff. Screenrant has got some juicy headlines every now and then. Godzilla vs. Kong in talks for the next Monsterverse movie. We covered that already. Is there anything else here? The Tomorrow War trailer. Yeah, we covered that. And sometimes these don't really have a whole lot to talk about. And that's why I wanted to show you this page. I mean, look at what they're doing here. Star Wars reveals how Palpatine's ships were built on Exegol. Who cares? It's like, is that your best material? I mean, the further away I get from the sequel trilogy, I'm like, God, it was not good. Okay, what's moving next? Fantasy Island TV reboot headed to Fox with Rosalind Sanchez as Mr. Rourke. Really? Rosalind Sanchez? I like that idea. Do you know who she is? I think most people will recognize her from Rush Hour 2. Yeah, she was good in that film. She's beautiful, and she's got that class to her. She could play a Mr. Rourke, played by Ricardo Montalban in the original series. And that new movie that came out from Blumhouse, A lot of people didn't like it. There were things I liked about it, but the third act was just horrible. Fantasy Island TV show with Rosalind Sanchez. I'm on board. Movie Web. What do you got for me, Movie Web? The crazy way Falcon and Winter Soldier's Anthony Mackie learned about Captain America 4. I wanted to pull up that story. Because apparently he learned about it by being in the grocery store, and the clerk was just kind of like, is this true? And he held up his phone. There's a quote here. I'll read it. I literally found out yesterday in a grocery store. The checkout guy named Dwayne, a cool cat, he's like, yo, man, is this real? And he held up his cell phone. I'm like, I haven't heard anything. Imagine that. That would be crazy. That's what I love about working for Marvel. They call you. They're like, come to LA. We want to tell you what's going on. So I'm excited to see what happens, but I haven't heard anything. And of course, the other day they released that big poster of him wearing his new costume, and a lot of people are hyped about it. They're talking about, is there going to be a Falcon and Winter Soldier Season 2? To which I still need to watch Season 1. We'll get there, guys. We're getting there. But I think for the most part, it's not really a spoiler thing, because if you've ever read the comics and you've known anybody who's read the comics, then you know that this was going to be the direction that they were going. All right, Movie Web, what do you got for me? What do you got? I think this is going to be the end for the quick little stories. Another round English remake, yeah. Another round one for Best Foreign Film. A movie with the bad guy from Casino Royale, Mads Mikkelsen, who's a really good actor, and he was in a movie called Arctic on Netflix right now, where he gets stranded up in the Arctic in a plane crash, and he's a survival movie. Check that out. But DiCaprio wants to remake it for English goers. I would say, okay, that's cool. Okay. The Rock's Black Adam suit won't have any padding. Wow. Yeah, of course. I mean, come on. It's The Rock. Yeah, he's buffed. He works out, guys. I mean, he doesn't need padding in there to fill the suit out. Ooh, look at those quads. He doesn't skip leg day. But, yeah, they're filming this now, so it's kind of cool to see that things are moving in motion. And hopefully soon we'll get some production photos. We'll get a sense that this thing is actually happening. And to finally wrap things up here today, guys, I want to quickly go through some ways that I look for new channels. And I'll just pick something out of the blue, like a topic like the Halloween 2018 review. Like, I wanted to go back and revisit that and look at some thoughts on it. So what I did is I typed it here into the YouTube channel, and I was just scrolling through stuff, and I'm like, okay, here's the big channels. Everybody who's big gets put up first on YouTube's algorithm. But then something weird happened. Why am I getting stuff that's not Halloween? It's Halloween 3, right? I put in the description 2018 movie, 2007 movie, and then, because those are the big channels. It took me a while. Oh, Son of Kong, why is that in there? Oh, Jon Favreau's bringing back Gina Carano. That's a fan channel. Don't listen to that. It's not substantiated. It's not. When it's confirmed, I will talk about it, but I want that to happen. Everything wrong with 2018. But what I do is I try to go down to the lesser known channels and see if anything jumps out at me. And yes, eventually, somewhere along this page, what's this? Something does jump out at me. Possessed by Horror, Halloween 2018 review. So I go over to her channel. 142 subscribers. So a lot of people are digging her vibe and what her channel's all about. And as I can see, it looks like it's well produced. She's got some interesting titles here, and that's what I'll do. I'll look for something interesting. Ooh, Possessor. And then I'll check that out. But going back to this other page, something that I also look for is something that's small. Something small. Haunted Hippie. What's that? Okay, Haunted Hippie. Only 3,000 subscribers. And again, she's small, but she's got some interesting titles that catch my eye. I'm going to have to watch it. Ranking the Scream franchise. And yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to have to check this channel out. I wanted to share that with you guys because, you know, I always look for new material, new channels, and I want to know how you guys do it. Is it just something you just stumble across on that sidebar on YouTube, or do you actually go out and find it? I wanted to quickly share that with you because I'm a movie fan, and that's what this is about, sharing thoughts with you guys, talking about movies. And that's the way it's been for April 28th, 2021 in the realm of movie news. Let's continue on.